Hey everybody. I have a new little setup with my phone and everything, so I'm hoping that this video works first and foremost, and then of course that it's helpful. I'm trying to get back in the habit of making videos on Tuesdays. Today I wanted to talk about two things. First is on the topic of being an empath, and the second thing has more to do with love and accepting love and our ideas about love. And we'll see if I get to that one, because the empath one is the one I want to really dive into first. So I made a post, where was it? Maybe on Twitter. I have a Twitter now for my witchcraft account. I can link it in the comments section, but I made a post about being an empath. And it's something that a lot of empaths sort of struggle with. So this is a hard topic. I don't want to pretend like this is easy, but I also think that it's critically important that we address this. So here we go. When you're an empath, you are somebody who is able to feel the feelings of other people. You can easily be aware of what someone's feeling, what they're emanating, what their mood is. If you walk into a space, that space usually feels some type of way to an empath. You can pick up on the vibes or the energy of a space really easily when you're an empath. And so an empath is someone who is highly aware of the energy radiating from another person. So this can be really helpful, and it can be really difficult, because a lot of times if you're an empath, you'll go to an event or you'll be around a person, and if their mood is off, you'll feel it immediately. And then you'll want to know what happened, what do I do about it, what's going on. You might be inclined, if you're an empath who has access to their words, and by that I mean if you're somebody who can communicate easily, you might start going, what's wrong? And then the person will go, nothing. And then you'll be like, no, but something's wrong. What's wrong? And then the other person might just continue to say nothing. And then you've got this situation of discord and discomfort, because you are clearly aware that something is wrong, and yet the other person is not taking ownership of their energy. And that can be really difficult for an empath. Now, here's the thing though. I was teaching a class once about this, and the topic of empaths came up, and I said, just because you're aware of somebody's feelings does not mean that it is your responsibility to fix them. And a woman in the class I was teaching got really upset about this. She did not like this lesson. She was actually kind of offended by me saying that to her. The reason for her offendedness was because she felt that she was given this gift in order to. Now, in order to what is going to be up to each individual, right? But for her, it was in order to help others, or in order to snap people out of their negativity or their darkness, or whatever she perceived their feelings to be. The post I wrote today, or the little tweet, it was very small, was simply saying something along the lines of, just because you're an empath and you are aware of someone else's mood doesn't mean that it is your burden or your right to change that mood that you're aware of. See, a lot of times empaths feel weighted down by the realization of other people's moods and other people's feelings. A lot of times empaths are like, oh my gosh, this person's upset, let me caretake to them, let me deal with it so that it stops. A lot of empaths are born out of a traumatic upbringing or a traumatic background in which an authority figure or somebody in their life had said to them, I will not ever verbally let you know what's going on, but I will send you signals that you are designed to pick up on and interpret and understand correctly, and you must fix whatever my secret problem is. So there's a huge link in my experience, and I think in some research, between trauma and empaths. But that's not always the case. But either way, empaths have often been trained somewhere in their lives to feel that feeling that it's their job, because they know about it, to fix or change or resolve whatever the problem is in the person whose mood they're picking up on. This is unfortunate because it's not. It's not anyone's job to change anyone else in any way, to be honest with you, unless you're asked. Now, if I was an empath and I was feeling someone else's mood and they were like, oh, I'm just in this like bad place today, I just need to snap out of it, like any ideas, like what should we do? Well, then I've been granted permission to work with someone through their mood. But if no one's asked you for any help or support in changing their mood, and you've decided that you're aware of a shift in their mood and it's now your job to fix or change it, that's actually not really okay. It's actually not really a gift that you're giving them, like this woman in my class thought that it was. She thought that because she knew she was meant to do something about it. I take a lot of problems with the idea of meant to anything, to be honest with you. I think that circumvents our own personal responsibility in a lot of ways. But specifically when it comes to this, just because we know something doesn't mean we are responsible for it, in both the good and the bad ways. See, there's heroism, right? And being aware of someone's moods and helping fix them. That's a nice thing, I guess, in some ways. But it's also robbing someone of their own experience. What if that person needed to be in their mood? Or what if that person is working on learning to let themselves sit in their feelings? Or what if that person always relies on other people to fix the world around them, and so they're just not getting their life lessons? When we step in and we claim ownership of somebody else's mood or somebody else's experience or somebody else's anything, their energy, and we make it our own, we are skipping our own experience, and we're saying, I'm going to dive into your experience. I'm going to alter it the way I think I should alter it. And an unfortunate part of this whole thing is that a lot of empaths aren't empowered with good communication. They aren't able to say things like, I'm experiencing your energy. Is everything okay? Do you want to talk about it? A lot of empaths, especially because of that trauma link, don't know how to have healthy, empowering conversations. And so they just sort of behind the scenes kind of sneak around to resolve what they perceive the problem to be. But just because you know about something doesn't mean you understand it. It doesn't mean that you are accurately interpreting the information you're getting. We're all our own filter as well. Whenever we receive anything, it has to come through the wall of our own, auric field that's full of our own energy. And if we're not right with ourselves, and if we don't know how to be completely cleared of our own stuff, we could interpret someone's mood in the wrong way. We could interpret someone's mood as being at us or about us, and it might not be at all. And us stepping in might just cause them more problems. Whenever you pick up somebody else's mood, the only thing you're really allowed to do, or that you really ethically should or can do as an empath, is to say, okay, how is this affecting me? And how do I want to neutralize my own mood again? How is this coming into my space? What is my energy field doing with this energy I'm receiving? How do I want my energy to be? And how can I get my energy back there? See, we're so used to caretaking for everybody else because we've been trained to, or we've decided it's our job, or we just want the shady, scary vibes to stop, so we're just going to fix it, that we don't caretake to ourselves. And most of the time, those of us who have encountered something like this or endured something like this, or who are picking up other people's energy and making it about us, most of the time when we do that, we have not learned how to caretake to ourselves. This is a harsh truth, so just sit with me for a second before I say it. Just get ready. It's actually kind of selfish when an empath feels someone else's mood and without that person's permission decides to fix or change it for them. I know you mean well. I know your intention is usually in the right place. But we can have good intentions and still make mistakes. We can have good intentions and still harm people. We can have good intentions and still interfere with someone else's lesson and still kind of get in the way of their growth. We can have good intentions and still not know the right way to solve something. So a challenge that I'd like to issue to all empaths is whenever you feel compelled to get out there into someone else's energy field or to pick up on someone's mood and then try to make it better, ask yourself, what does better even mean? And then challenge yourself to start to use communication and to say to the other person, hey, do you want to feel differently than you're feeling right now? What's going on? Do you want to talk about it? If they say no, your challenge is to accept that. Every person knows what they need. And our job is to believe them and to not think that we know better than somebody else about what they need. And when we have trouble with that, the second challenge is to say, what is it about me that is having such a huge struggle with letting someone else have their own experience? I'm not saying this is easy. I'm not pretending like this isn't like a really difficult thing to do. I'm just trying to draw awareness to the fact that because you know about something doesn't mean you need to do anything about it, or that you even can, or that you should do anything about it. I'm drawing awareness to the fact that because you know about something, it's always an opportunity for you to ask yourself questions about it and to get right with yourself. I love communication. I'm actually obsessed with good communication. I want to know what someone's dealing with, how do they want me to participate in their experience. I want to know, do you want me involved? Do you not want me involved? Just tell me what you need and I'll do it. If you want me gone, I'm out of here. I hate it when there's a circumstance unfolding and I don't get to have access to communication about how I can support or not support that circumstance. That's very difficult for me because I am naturally a fixer and a helper and a healer, and I know a lot about how to solve a lot of things. And I don't always get that information. And it's hard. It's terrible. It's very painful to not understand why someone doesn't want to communicate their needs to you. But that's never about you. It's always about them. If someone can't or is choosing not to communicate their needs to you, that's a kind of communication unto itself. And your job is to do whatever it takes to weather whatever storm rises within you to become at peace with that. Because we cannot force other people to show up for us in the way that we want them to or need them to. That's when we are making somebody else's whole experience all about ourselves. And that's not okay. All we can ever do is just get back to center as many times as we can. What do I need to go back to my peace? Something is taking me out of my peace. Oh, it's that person's mood. I don't need to change them. I need to work with myself to get back to my sense of peace. That's the real work. That's the real thing. That's what being an empath helps us. Anything that draws us out of our peace is an opportunity to turn right back around and walk back into it. This does not mean that if we're asked for help that we don't help. Of course we help. We're so excited to help if we're asked to help. We cannot wait to help because we're really good at helping. But we have to wait to be invited to help. We have to say, would you like our help? And if someone says no or does not respond or shuts us out for whatever reason, we cannot keep knocking on that door and saying, let me do this for you, let me change this, let me fix this, let me in. Because then we're making everything about us and we're causing more harm than good at that point. So this was just a thought for today. I know a lot of people struggle with their empathic gifts. I know a lot of people struggle with learning how to navigate the world when you just feel so much, especially with the world the way it is right now. There's just a lot of high energy out there. There's a lot of intensity out there. So hopefully this will help you, because we're gonna encounter people that are negative or harmful or putting bad vibes into the atmosphere. We're gonna encounter people who are in some type of mood, and maybe it's a bait. Maybe they want to reel us in. See, this is a trap that abusers use too. They emanate a mood at us because they want us to say, what can I do? So that they can slam us back down, bring us down a notch, tell us why it's all our fault. Don't take the bait. Classic abuse. to intentionally emanate a mood at somebody who has been conditioned to say, how can I fix this for you? Don't fix it. Every time you feel a sense of discord and not being at peace with yourself, say, what do I need to do internally to resolve this rather than externally? Let everybody solve their own issues unless they ask for help. I hope this was helpful, and I'll talk to you guys soon.